Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft training webinar. Today is Tuesday, November 20th, 2018, and we are going to be covering action plans and business rules today. Action plans and business rules allow you to put some automation into your database so that you aren't repeating the same things over and over again, or you can trigger actions to occur according to the kinds of business rules that you create. So we're going to give you some samples, show you how to build them, and hopefully while we're talking, you'll come up with some really good ideas on what you would like to do in your own database. As I said, the action plans and the business rules allow you to add some automation. Action plans allow you to add a group of activities all at one time to your database. An example of using this would be if you have a new lead come in and you want to have certain follow-up activities that are done by your sales team within a certain amount of time. So for example, when a new lead is brought in, the first thing that you want them to do is either call or email that lead within a day of that lead being created. Then maybe within 7 to 10 days, you want them to do a follow-up call or email, and then perhaps another follow-up. And so these are activities that can be bundled together, saved under new lead action plan, and then applied each time you have a new lead entered or created. And this saves you from having to create 3 to 5 to 6 new activities over and over and over again because they all drop in. And the nice thing is you set the time span that you want these to be done, and no matter when you apply the action plan, the ClaritySoft will calculate the proper dates for you so you don't have to update the dates. So that's how you can use action plans. You can use them in leads. You can apply them to contacts. You can apply them to opportunities and projects, okay? Business rules allow you to create triggers that say either to create an activity that is assigned to someone or to send an email to one or more persons. And so this is a way to, again, if you make a change to a status in the account record, you can have a business rule that triggers an email to be sent to the account rep or even the contact person or whomever that this has occurred, this change has occurred. This can be used in opportunities. If you're changing your sales stage status to having been won, you could notify your billing department that there's a new sale. So we will go over some of these ideas, and again, I'm sure you'll be thinking of some. Then, so we'll start doing the creating and saving of the plans, and then at the end of the session, if you have any questions, you can shout them out through the Q&A panel, or during the session, if you have questions while I'm talking, please use the Q&A panel in Zoom meeting to give me any questions that you have. So, without further ado, I will go to my ClaritySoft. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to create an action plan for the leads module and apply it. Just as a note before we start, if you are in this session, in order to be able to create either action plans or business rules, you need to be an admin user in your database, and the features need to be turned on. So if you are an admin user, but when you go to the settings menu and you don't see action plans or business rules, that means those features are not turned on in your particular database, and you would need to contact your account rep to talk about that. So just as a heads up. And if you're not an admin user, then you can just get some good ideas and go to your admin user. All right, so we're in the leads module, and I have set up a pre-filter here where I'm showing new leads and new leads that belong to me. I've selected my name from the list here. Now I further want to filter this because I have new leads coming in. We can pretend that I have new leads coming in from my website that are being filled out on the form in the website, and then they're coming into ClaritySoft, which can be set up. And so I want to find the new leads that have come in today because I want to apply an action plan to assign those activities for new leads. So I'm going to do a filter and then I'll go create the action plan. So if I come here, I can do an advanced search and say for a time filter, the creation date is this day. So I should have 3 records. So once we get the action plan built, these are the 3 records that I will be working with. So you can see over here the creation date is today. Now, to build the action plan, you go to the settings, and then on the left you will see action plans and business rules. So if you have it turned on, so you click on action plans, and then you click the add button. So the first thing you want to do is give your action plan a name. So we can call this new lead follow-up. I'll just put activities for new lead. Again, whatever you want for the description. Here you have an option in your plan when ClaritySoft is counting the number of days to go out from the start, you can have it exclude weekends. So if you work a 5-day work week, you don't want it to count weekends, you're just wanting to count the 5-day work week, then you would click in this checkbox. If you want to include weekends in your count, then you can uncheck it. So I don't want weekends counted. Enabled means that the action plan is enabled in the database and you would have access to it. If you have created an action plan that for some reason you're not going to use anymore, you've modified it or something, you can disable it and then the action plan isn't actually deleted, it's just not going to show up in the action plan lists that you have. So we definitely want this enabled. And then we come down here and we want to begin to add our activities. So we can add an activity. The subject of the activity here is going to be initial email. I'm going to choose the activity type of email. You can set a priority if you want, and then you can set the user to the record owner, and then that will apply the action plan to whomever, the activities to whomever belongs to that lead record, whoever the ClaritySoft user / owner is. And so that's probably what you'd want to do most of the time, but you can see too that you could create an action plan where maybe you have different steps that you create, and one person does one step and another person does the next step. So you can assign the activities to a specific person, and then that person gets the activities in their own to-do list in ClaritySoft. All right, so now down here is the part that you sit and you think about. So if we have a new lead come in, we want this email to be sent out within no more than, say, 2 days. So we want it to start at 0, I'll put, and due within 2 days after the activity start date. So if I start this plan today, that means the start date is going to be today, and the due date will be, let's say today's Tuesday, Thursday. Okay. So this is the important part, is to think how far out you want to go. And then that will automatically calculate the dates for you. You also, if you want, can have a reminder sent to the person and say when it's going to be sent to them. I'm not going to do that in here. And then the other thing that's here is you can select a category. This is that built-in category that's in the activity records. So we have our first activity. We're going to save it. And then we're going to add another activity. And the second one is going to be and that's going to be a call. And again, we will assign it to the record owner. And this one is going to start 2 days after it. And, well, let's make it 3. And then say 5. Okay. And again, I can select a category I want and save it. And then we're going to add one more activity, and you can add as many activities as you need or want. So I'm just going to add 3, or we'll be here all day waiting for me to type. And then record owner. And this one we want to do starting 7 days in within 10. All right. Just a couple of things here. Creating a subject line that means something would be important, not just calling it a follow-up call, but giving, so when the person is looking at the list of activities, they would see what it's about or what it's supposed to be about, and that helps the salesperson know what to do. All right? So we have our activity set up, and now we need to save the whole thing. Okay. I do believe I clicked save. Yep, I did. Okay. So I have saved it, and now I can see I have new lead follow-up here. Activities for new lead. All right. So once you've done this, the key thing here, you must log out and log back in. Okay. If any of you are admin users and you've worked with ClaritySoft's settings, you know that this is pretty much the rule. When in doubt, log out is my mantra anymore. So just do it, and then you should be fine. So I'm going to go back to my leads module. It's going to go back to the complete list. So the first thing I'm going to do here is select myself as a user, and then I can do the advanced search, the quick time period again, get a review of that. Creation date is this one day. That would pick up everything that's come in today. And I have the 3 that have come in today. Okay. So now I'm ready to apply my action plans. So what I can do is click here to select the 3 records and then go to list actions, and you see action plan here. Then it always prompts all records marked as checked or all filtered records. All records marked as checked means all these that are checked, and as long as the number of records marked as checked is less than the results per page down here, you can use that option. If you've gone beyond 100, then I would use all filtered records, as the check marks don't go beyond the first page. So that in case you didn't understand that at some point, that's an explanation for that. All right, so now my new action plan window shows up, and I have to select my action plan. So the one that I want is the new lead follow-up. And The start date will automatically be today, but I could click here and say, well, because the holiday's coming up and probably nobody's going to be in the office tomorrow or later this afternoon, I could choose to start this action plan on Monday. And if you notice, here are the dates. So the first one is to be started on the 26th and should be completed no later than the 28th. So that first email needs to be sent out in that time window. Then the second one was due to start 3 days in and go to 5, and then this was 7 to 10. If you change the start date up here, it will automatically calculate. So if I bring it back to the 20th, it will recalculate. So this is nice too, because you might have an action plan that you don't want it to start for a week or several days because of holidays or something, or maybe you're going on vacation, something like that. So you can choose when you want to start it. So let's put it to next week. And you can set a specific time. I don't know if that matters. So I now have my action plan. I've set it to start on the 26th, and I can make it a calendar event, meaning it would put it in my calendar. So if I do that, it would put it in the calendar as well as in the to-do list. So now I've applied my action plans. So what do I see? When I go here, there are my open activities. So I have now created 9 activities for these 3 different leads, all in a matter of a few clicks. So once you've created the action plan and you've then select the records, however many you want to apply it to, and then you apply the action plan, it creates those activities for all of the records. And there they are. So they're there. Now the other place that you will see them is in your activities module, so that if you go there, I didn't create anything to land for today, but if I look up here and I say future activities, they are here. So here, the ones that have asterisks next to them mean that they are a lead record. So here we have the Great Cranberry Farm, second email, and I can actually do these, let's see, if I sort these by the start date, there. So here's this one right here is starting on the 26th. Here's the Best Potato Farm, and here's Weaver Turkey Farm. And these are all initial lead email. So I know when I come in on the 26th, these will be in my to-do list for Monday the 26th, when it's the 26th. And then on the 29th, these will be in my to-do list for the 29th, and so on and so forth. So you can see that this can really help you because those activities are there. It just reminds you you're supposed to do this, what type of activity it is. And with your emails, the other thing you can do within ClaritySoft is you could create email templates that are the initial email that you would send out to a lead. Save the templates so that when you go to email the person, then you can pull up a template and it's there, it's done. You could add a few, extra personal words to it or something and then send it out. So again, that helps to really automate the whole process for you so that you're not creating the same activities over again. All right? So that's creating an action plan in Leads, which you can use. You also could create one for accounts. If you have a new customer that came on board, and you wanted to set up an action plan for that new customer so that then you're getting reminded to do certain follow-up calls. Now, I've already set up an action plan in settings, so I'll show you this. So I have a new customer follow-up here. If I open it, I have a 1 week, a 2 week, a 6 week, and a 10 month. So again, I put the number of days out from the start of the action plan. And then depending on, when the new customer comes on board, whatever day they come on board, I apply the action plan, and it's going to drop these activities in, and I will have them, pop up at the appropriate time. So you can do that with new customers. Another one here, this is thinking a little bit differently. I have one here called Event Plan. And this one, the person I was working with, we had to learn to think backwards in a sense, because what she needed to do was to know that 30 days ahead of her venue, whenever it was scheduled, she needed to do this first, then she needed to do this, and then this and this within so many days. So what we finally figured out is that she would apply this action plan 30 days or 31 days ahead of the actual event. That would lay in the proper dates for her so that she's on track to get things done and be ready on day 30 when that event was actually scheduled. So this is another way to think about applying an action plan too. So that if you have, if you do any kind of event planning, then you can think of it, okay, how many days out do I need, to get things organized in order to be ready? And then, how many days out backwards from the event do I need to schedule this and then this and then this? So this is another way to think about it as well, so that you keep yourself on track and you're not typing all these activities over again. So let's go back and look at accounts now to do it in accounts, because you do it a little bit differently here. In leads, your account, your company name, and your contact are all in the same record. But in accounts, it's separated from contacts, and your activities are actually applied to the contact at the contact level. So in accounts, if I come here and I have a pre-set up view here of Susan's prospects that I saved, so it's searching for owner of Susan and the type of a prospect, okay? Then what I want to do is, let's say today was my really lucky day that I had 3 people come in as a customer today. And so because some of this data is old over here, I'm going to click the last touch date to sort by that to get my more recent people. And the 3 customers that I had come in today were the Holiday Company, Mode Magazine, and Tuesday Company. So the first thing that I want to do with them is to change them from a prospect to a customer. So by selecting them, I can go to List Actions, Group Edit, select the type field or whatever, you might have a status field, whatever you call it, and then I'm going to change it from prospect to customer. Now when I do this, those 3 companies are going to disappear from my list because this list is looking for prospects. So I have created another filter and saved it, or view, as customers. So now I have my customers. And so then I want to apply an action plan to these 3 customers. So first of all, I need to select them here. Then I go to list actions and I say view contacts because I have to apply the action plan to the contact record. Then ClaritySoft takes me to contacts and it will show me the 3 contacts, one for each company. Now, if you have more than one contact for a company, at this point, you could select the one that you know you're going to work with most of the time. I'm just going to select them all. And now I can go to list actions, action plan, records marked as checked, and I would select my new customer follow-up. It drops my plan, my activities in place. It puts in the dates, and I could again say I want to start it today, or because of the holiday coming up, I want the plan to start on Monday. It recalculates my dates, and that one, 10 months out, is that far out? Ooh, I think that's wrong. Okay. And then click Save. So again, my activities will be applied. They're all there. The dates for follow-up are there. So very simple, very easy to do. I just now have to pay attention in my activities list, what's due today, what's due tomorrow, so on and so forth. So I don't have to pay attention anymore because I've applied that. I've changed the type or status to customer from prospect, and then I've applied my action plan, and off I go. And I'm off to my next person that I want to try and bring in. So any questions on action plans? All right, we'll move on to business rules. Okay, the example that we're going to do today with business rules is we're going to say that in opportunities, we're going to take an opportunity that we have won, and when we change the status to won, it will trigger an email to be sent to our billing department to inform them that, let's see what we've got here. Okay, we've got some here that we can work with. All right, we have some discovery and proposal ones. Okay, so we can then send the email to the billing department so then they know to send out an invoice. Okay, another way this could be used is in some companies that I've worked with, there's one person who does all the quotations, and so the salespeople need to notify that person that that company is ready to receive a quotation. So in the opportunity record, you can have a sales stage of, quotation. Here, this is send a quote. And when you select that option and save the record, that would trigger a business rule to send an email to the quotation person to say this is what you need to do. And in the email, you'll see that you can include the company name and all the information. We're going to do it for having one. Okay, so let's go to create our business rule. Again, you go to settings, and then you go to business rules. And then you'll see under business rules, templates and rules. if you are going to create a business rule that triggers an email to be sent, you have to first create the email template and save it. And then when you create the rule, you attach that template to the rule. So we're going to do an email. So we need to create a new email template. And let's see. Let's say invoicing. And that's the name of it, okay? Then the subject line, new one opportunity. And then you attach this to what module that the trigger is going to be in. Okay, so you can see that you can attach it to any of the modules, including the projects module, which is new. So I'm attaching it to opportunities because the trigger is going to come from opportunities. And then I can come down here and I can type hello, billing department. You would probably be more personal because you'd have a specific person that you would send it to. And okay, and then I can put the account name and come up here and click this button, which brings up all your fields, and then I just select the account name field. And then I can put the contact and do the same thing. This is like creating things in Word's mail merge. There's the opportunity name. And then if I want to put in who the owner of the record is, meaning the salesperson, can do that. And then the close date. And the amount. So this should give the billing department person enough information to be able to then go into ClaritySoft and find the opportunity record. Okay, so we've created this, and then we just need to click Save. And we now have this one opportunity ready for invoicing template. So again, you would create as many email templates as you need for the different business rules that you want to create. Then I'm going to come over here and click on Rules. And I want to add a new business rule. Again, you give it a name. The action type is either going to be to send an email or create an activity. In this case, we're going to send an email. And again, you attach it to the proper module. So again, the trigger is coming out of the opportunities module. It's enabled. Then here is where you set your criteria. So the data filter is going to be the stage And I like to choose contains rather than equal because that gives me a little leeway. If I don't remember the exact spelling and I don't want to go back and look it up, then I know that the word won is in my stage for winning, okay? And so I can use contains. And then if you are using other criteria as well, you can set up a filter here, kind of a multi-level filter. It depends what you're doing. Then the option tab, this is when you're saying when the trigger is done, okay? So you have different options here. The first one, every time an existing record is edited and previously met the rule criteria, that allows the business rule to be triggered every time a record that previously met the rule criteria, every time it's edited, it would do it again, okay? This would not be triggered by, oh, this is only existing records. Wait a minute, yeah. So that's right. Then the one we want is when a record is created or edited and did not previously meet the rule criteria. So you're going in, you're changing the stage to 1, you're saving the record, that's the trigger. It did not meet the criteria before, and you could do it when you first create the record. You could set immediately to 1, or it might have been edited several times before it is changed to 1 and it meets the criteria. And then this one is when a record is created and meets the rule criteria. This one, this doesn't match exactly the stuff I have. Oh, this is when a record is created and meets the rule criteria. So it only works when you first create a record. So if you create a record, you set an option in that record that meets the rule criteria for the business rule, it will trigger it. It will not trigger it anytime after that when you're editing the record, okay? So it's only when you first create a record. And then this one is every time a new record is created or an existing record is edited and did not previously meet the rule criteria. This one can be triggered every single time you do an edit, all right? So you might have to play around with these to make sure you're getting the right one set depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But this one is usually the most common one, I think. Then your action is, well, what are you going to do? The action is, I want this template and I want to send it. You can send it to the contact person for the opportunity. You don't want to do that, okay? But that shows you that you could create a business rule that when you do something in the opportunity, it triggers an email to be sent to the contact person automatically. You can send it to the owner of the record, okay? Or you can send it to a custom email. So in this case, your custom email would be your billing department person. So I'm going to put my email here. And you can put multiple emails in here. So hopefully your brain is starting to kind of spin a little bit and think of ways that you can use this. And then I'm going to click Save. So I've now created the business rule and saved it. Again, I'm going to log out. And then I'm going to go to my opportunities and take one. So let's see here. We've got this one here. Let's just say this one. So I'm going to open this opportunity. Now this doesn't matter for the business rule, but I'm going to set the close date to be 11/20 just for the accuracy of when the opportunity was won and closed. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to set my sales stage to 1. Now the trigger does not occur until I either click save or save and close. Okay, so if I click save and close now, that is going to trigger the rule, and shortly I should receive an email as the billing department that I have a new opportunity that was won and needs to be invoiced. So, and notice that it went away from here because once you mark an opportunity as being won, it is no longer active, okay? So I could come here and say won this month, and there it is, okay? That's the one that I just did. So that's another thing to pay attention to when you're in opportunities. These filters do look at the close date. That's what this month is looking at. So it's looking at the close date. And if an opportunity is active, it's not won, not lost, and not no decision. Okay? It's every other sales stage that you have. Now this one actually needs to be changed to become inactive because it's been invoiced and paid. Okay? So that's setting that. So let me go here. I'll just do that one. And let me see where my email is. I have too many windows open. There it is. Here's the email. So it says, hello billing. We have won a new opportunity. Here's the account name, all the information that I said, and there it is. So the billing department would receive this and then know what to do. Okay, so that's an email type of business rule. Now we can go back and do a activity one. So let's say now, to kind of follow through on this one being marked as being won, let's say what the billing department is now going to do is once the billing department invoices the customer and the customer pays, the billing department would like to let the salesperson know that, okay, they've paid their invoice, they're free and clear. So I created a stage in my sales stages called invoiced and paid. Okay, so now we want to create a business rule to notify the account rep. So I'm going to go to settings, business rules. This time I don't need a template because I'm not going to send an email. I'm going to create an activity, okay, so that the salesperson can send a welcome email to the person. Okay, now you could trigger it to do the email automatically, but I'm going to make the salesperson do it, not the billing department do it. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So we're going to go just to rules, and we're going to send an email, or no, yes, but in not send an email, I'm going to create an activity, okay? And again, it's going to come from opportunities. That's where the trigger is. And my filter now is going to be the stage contains, I'm just going to put paid because it's the only one that has paid in it. So I don't have to type invoiced and paid. That's why I use contains. All right. My option again is when the record is created or edited and did not previously meet that rule. And then the action is and I can choose an activity type. Here, I could probably do it as a task. This is a task for the salesperson to do. I could set it as an email too. And then the start date, you don't need to put this in because what's going to happen as soon as this trigger is, the rule is triggered, it'll just create an activity and put it in the person's to-do list. So they'll just know it's there and they're supposed to get it done within a certain amount of time. And then again, this is assigned to the owner of the record, not a specific person, but it could be assigned to a specific person. All right, and then there's that category one again that's optional whether you fill it in. And then you could say that this account has been invoiced and paid. Please send our standard Okay, so I have that, and I'm going to save it. I probably could have put the contact person's name in there too, but we'll assume the salesperson knows who it is. All righty, so again, to be on the safe side, I'm going to log out. And I'll go back to my opportunities. And the billing person now will go to look up the one opportunities, open the record, change the sales stage to invoiced and paid, and then do a save and close. So that should then trigger an activity to be created There it is. Send new customer welcome email. Okay. And I literally could do it from here. I can click on the person's email address. It opens an email. If I have a template, new customer, drops it in, put any special other notes you'd want in here. You'd write a little bit better letter than I have, and then send it. Done. Very easy, very simple to do. So it's a way, again, for being able to notify people of either an activity to be done or send them an email. Hopefully all of you have some ideas swimming around in your heads right now that will, you know, allow you to help make your ClaritySoft a little more efficient in moving things, you know, keeping things moving forward with your sales process and your workflow in the database. So again, like I said, you do need to be, number one, an admin user, and number two, those two features have to be turned on in your database. If you do not have them, then you want to talk to your account rep and discuss with them how to go about getting that done. So with that, I am done And if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them. And we'll return back here and go to our final page. As I say each week, if you need help with anything, if you are still in your quick start or onboarding with either Linda or myself, then you definitely call one of us and we'll help you with setting up action plans or business rules or anything else you need. And if you're out of your quick start or chose not to do it, then you can call our support team at the number here, the 888-838-7487, extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. And then again, if you have some ideas for future webinars or, I don't know, anything that kind of pops into your head, send it to info@claritysoft.com. We're always looking for new ideas. We try to vary these. Keeps me busy because I have to keep coming up with new webinars. I don't get to repeat the same old. So that's fine. It keeps me going here. So with that, if there aren't any other questions, everyone go and have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families and enjoy your holiday weekend. And next week, the webinar for next week is ClaritySoft for Beginners. And then we have some other newer ones coming up through the rest of the week in December. And you will find those at our support portal too, as you know, where you can go to register for those. So with that, I'll say goodbye and have a great rest of the day.